Ever wondered how a tiny country, completely surrounded by Italy, has managed to survive for over 1,700 years? Let's dive into the incredible story of San Marino, the world's oldest surviving republic. Our journey begins way back in the year 301 AD with a stonemason named Marinus. Fleeing religious persecution from the Roman Emperor Diocletian, Marinus, who was a Christian, sought refuge on Mount Titano. He wasn't alone for long. Soon, a small community of fellow Christians gathered around him, drawn by his faith and leadership. They built a chapel and a small settlement, laying the groundwork for what would become an independent state. The core principle they established was simple but powerful: to live freely without persecution from anyone. This foundation of liberty is the very bedrock of San Marino's existence. As the centuries rolled by and the Western Roman Empire crumbled, Europe became a chaotic patchwork of warring kingdoms and feudal states. It was a time of constant conflict, where bigger powers swallowed up smaller ones. So, how did little San Marino avoid being conquered? One key reason was its geography. Perched atop the rugged and easily defensible Mount Titano, it was a difficult target for any invading army. A full-scale assault would be costly and complicated. And for what? A tiny piece of land with few resources. For most potential conquerors, the effort simply wasn't worth the reward. But location alone doesn't guarantee survival for over a millennium. San Marino's real secret weapon was its shrewd diplomacy. The leaders of San Marino, known as the Captain's Regent, became masters of negotiation and neutrality. They understood that their survival depended on maintaining good relationships with their powerful neighbors, especially the various Italian city-states and later the Papal States. They carefully navigated the treacherous political landscape, forming alliances when necessary, but always avoiding being drawn into major conflicts. They offered shelter to refugees and maintained a stance of peaceful coexistence, earning respect and, crucially, being left alone. One of the most defining moments in San Marino's history came in 1797. Napoleon Bonaparte was sweeping through Europe, redrawing maps and toppling old regimes. When his forces reached the borders of San Marino, he was so impressed by this tiny republic as ancient commitment to liberty, a value he claimed to champion, that he offered to not only respect its independence, but also to expand its territory. In a remarkable display of foresight, San Marino's leaders politely declined the offer. They knew that accepting land from Napoleon would make them his ally, and when his empire eventually fell, they would fall with it. By refusing, they preserved their neutrality and their future. Another critical test came during the unification of Italy in the 19th century. San Marino provided a safe haven for many figures who were fighting for a unified Italy, including the famous general Giuseppe Garibaldi. After one of his defeats, Garibaldi and his men found refuge within San Marino's walls. In gratitude for this sanctuary, Garibaldi promised that San Marino would always be respected as an independent friend of the new Italian state. This promise was kept, and when Italy was officially unified, San Marino's sovereignty was formally recognized. Today, San Marino stands as a living monument to endurance, diplomacy, and an unwavering love of freedom. From a small group of refugees on a mountain to a modern, prosperous nation, its story is truly one of a kind. It proves that with clever leadership and a strong sense of identity, even the smallest of states can outlast the greatest of empires. Thanks for joining this historical journey. If you found this story as fascinating as I do, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden corners of our world's history. See you next time.